Y'all can disagree with my.
Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie, like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie.
I'm going to do something for the homies, for all of the homies, other older homies. I'm going to tell them two things. One, just so you know, it's your job to explain things to kids. That's your job. If you don't want to explain things to children, then you should not be around children, because children are going to ask you to explain everything. They're going to ask you to explain oxygen, why the sky is blue, why this, why that. It's kids. So because that's what they're going to do, it's actually your responsibility to develop the language in order to explain things to children. And straight Black brothers, it's your job to explain sexual diversity and orientation to younger kids. So rather than lament the fact that that's your job, learn how to do it. Because I can tell you one thing, if that situation was different, if that kid came up and asked Snoop, how do I talk to girls? I bet you got an answer for that question.
Sure.
Yo, Uncle Snoop, how do I get money? How do I rap? I bet you got an answer for that question because you've thought about it. I think it's lazy, and I think it's ridiculous, and it's not just in the situation of Snoop. I think everybody who asks lazy, homophobic, idiotic questions like this, that you fall into the same fucking trough.
That's the word. It's homophobic. That's what it is. It's not that he's going to answer the questions about a woman or about money or about rapping because he's thought about it. It's that he's comfortable with those things. He liked those things. The reason he didn't want to talk about these things is because they make him uncomfortable. He has some sort of issue with it, which makes these comments homophobic. That's what it is. You have to call it like it is.
Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie, like,
welcome. I guess that conversation yesterday had a lot of life. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, Niele, I don't agree with what they just said.
Peace and love, everybody, and welcome to Let It Be Known. Starting off the show with firecrackers, but we also have headlines coming from California about an update on redistricting. Got some news on Cardi B, and a big day for Black August and Black history, and we'll give you all those facts a little bit later in the show. I think it's all based upon how you choose to run your household. But I had a really good conversation yesterday with Flame Monroe, who is really big in the comedy world. He, she, we is how he identifies her pronouns.
Okay.
I said he identifies her pronouns. Frank
I caught
is
that.
transgender. And I love Flame because anytime I have conversations about the queer community, I kind of lean to her. And she went online and she's backing Snoop. And she's like, it is inappropriate. It's not necessary. So, I mean, Van Lathan has his opinion. But I always refer to the transgender world because T.S. Madison came out and called Snoop homophobic as well. And Flame said bullshit. Flame has 3 children, and she is like, children should be taught different things at different stages at their lives. And minors and children under 12 and things like that. I mean, let them be kids and play. It's not lazy. It's just how you choose to parent.
Yeah, to automatically, because he doesn't know how to talk to his grandkids about it, to automatically label him homophobic is just wrong. He could be. I don't know Snoop. But based on that, you're going to label him homophobic. You could say he's ignorant about the topic. That might be a lot fairer, if that's a word.
I don't think it's fair.
Right. Well, I'm not saying it is either. I'm just saying, maybe because so years ago, this is the 80s, right? And the 80s, that whole AIDS thing, and we didn't know, we wasn't educated, we was a bit ignorant on AIDS, right? And I remember a really good friend of mine, she high school friend, and she brings over this woman, and turns out, she's in a relationship with this woman. And she confided that in me, and the girl, and my first question, because she's telling me she's gay, was about AIDS, and she said I was ignorant. And I told her I just didn't know. You couldn't label me as homophobic because I didn't know. I wasn't educated on that. You can't label Snoop homophobic because he asked a question. I don't think you can anyway.
I mean, how can you label
I
somebody
hate defending
homophobic
Snoop.
because you grow up one way and you decide, like, when you were a child, I saw in the comments like a lot of cartoons had sexual undertones in them,
Mhm,
maybe so that ran over my head because I was a kid. Maybe as an
mhm,
adult now you realized it, but as a kid you were just watching cartoons. And yes, as time has evolved, we were having a conversation about what it takes to make a child, like how it doesn't even matter anymore. Back then it mattered when Snoop was growing up. Back then it mattered when we was growing up. And so now you have this evolution of a culture that says if my 7-year-old son wants to paint his nails, he can. That wasn't happening back then. So we're
mhm,
living in different times, and it's okay to stand on whatever you believe is your truth is, and you shouldn't be labeled as homophobic.
mhm.
I've never seen Snoop like be disrespectful to the queer community. He's just saying he don't want to deal with his grandchildren. Let the parents handle it. Let the
The
parents. He
parents
just
handle
want to
it.
be
Yep.
papa.
That's what Shanae said yesterday in her comments. She said, "Let the parents talk to the kids about that." Let me ask you a question. I in your because I don't want to jump ahead, but in your headlines today, your news and notes and headlines, do you have anything on tennis, Neil?
Something's happening. Oh, my internet was faulty. Say it again. I'm
I
sorry.
said, do you have anything on tennis this morning? I just overlooked something.
Oh yeah. Well, there's n- no, I don't. But yeah, there is a headline trending from the
Yeah,
tennis
that's why I
player.
asked, 'cause,
Yeah.
yeah, in fact, can we get to that right now then? You all right with that?
Yeah.
All right. So Greer, can you go ahead and play that clip? If she's not gonna play the clip, yeah.
Wanted the
Oh,
finish with
there
a
you go.
flourish there, and didn't she just do so very well to handle a moment when 5-3 down in the opening sets of this one? No love lost between these two.
No, I don't have to. Competition. People get upset when they lose, and you can't. Some people say bad things. She told me I have no class, I have no education, and to see what happens when we get outside the U.S. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I beat her in Canada outside the U.S. I beat her in New York outside the U.S. So let's see what else she has to say.
You were down 5-3, won 9 straight games. What changed for you?
Honestly, I just locked in. I mean, she was playing really well at the beginning, and when she was playing well, I didn't say anything, and so that just shows class. I mean, sometimes people are playing too good, and you have to just take it. But I turned it up another level, and that's what I'm most proud of today. Competition. People get.
I mean, the audacity of her to tell her wait till she gets outside the U.S. and call her no class and no education. That's straight racism. I don't care.
Mhm.
Now I done said that you can't label Snoop homophobic based on this is straight racism.
Yeah, no class, no education. I mean, did she look her up on did she Google her? I mean, how did she who is she to determine that? Yeah, that was definitely racist. And I think, it's all about people being emboldened under this Trump plan administration too, that you can get away with saying a lot more things because, this is the space and time and climate that they are creating for racist comments like that.
And simply because she lost. Listen, you lost. Is it's that line from Let's Do It Again. You lost, Mac. You lost. I mean, she lost
I
and got
wonder
mad
if the
because she
tennis,
lost.
I wonder if the US Open has any type of regulations as far as, just comments like that, and if there will be any repercussions
Right.
for that type of rhetoric and comments, on the tennis course. I remember when Serena went off on one of the judges one time, she got in trouble. So it'll be interesting to see how the US Open handles this, or if they just sweep it under the rug and say, let's move on. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Nancy Wall says she comes from a background that everyone deserves a trophy. Um, it's just it's unconscionable to think that an athlete, a pro athlete at that level would resort to this simply because you were beaten.
No
Just
class, no
unconscionable.
education. That's wild for her to
Yeah,
say that to her. I
and
mean, I could see her talking about her tennis skills, her, going off and criticizing her tennis skills. But to say no class and education, that is just total disrespect. And I hope the US Open does something about that.
you
And
gotta
there's some
hope they do.
repercussions.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the way Townsend handled this. I mean, she was so professional. Even during the exchange, she had a smile on her face. Her press conferences, her interviews. I just think that she deserves all the praise that you can heap upon an athlete right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, just
That
go,
was
go,
that was a Michelle Obama moment. When they go low, she went high.
Yeah, exactly. She definitely went high there, and kudos to her. Dr. Nicole says regarding the tennis, yes, there should definitely be consequences for her unsportsmanlike conduct.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah. Folks, it is a historic anniversary, 70 years after the murder and lynching of Emmett Till, the 14-year-old. Um, he was, of course, kidnapped, tortured, and murdered in Mississippi. His killers acquitted by an all-white jury that never saw his life as equal. His mother, Mamie Till Mobley,
Mhm.
forced America to look at what racism had done to her child by leaving his casket open. Now, 70 years later, the federal government has released thousands of pages of records on his killing, and it's a reminder that the truth was buried almost as deeply as his body in the Tallahatchie River. Till's death, of course, ignited the civil rights movement. So they are releasing these documents on Emmett Till, Niele, and it's just a painful lesson that his murder took place, 70 years ago, and before America, it still hasn't really told the truth.
Yeah, but it's just a reminder, that Black Lives Matter, and why it's so important to have people like, Ida B. Wells, thinking back to when she had to write about lynchings and the misfortunes of Black people in this country. I mean, Emmett Till was like one of the first, not one of the first, but one of the national headlines that picked up, and why we needed to see him in that casket, that decision of his mother to decide to let the world see how they did her son was a pivotal and critical moment in American history, as to where the world could see. Because it's one thing when you hear about it, right? But
Mhm.
when you actually see it, it does something else. Like, just fast forward to George Floyd. It would have been one thing if we would have read about what happened to George Floyd, but it was a
Right.
whole nother scenario when we saw what happened to him. So thank God for his mother's courage to do that. And that's why we still are talking about him today, because we saw what happened to him. We saw him in that casket.
What's that thing you do? What
Oh,
was
what
that?
they doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That deserves that, I guess, because what you just said, you knocked it out the park there. Dr. Joni says the strength of his mother, and she also says that wasn't that long ago, and that is
It
exactly right, because
wasn't.
time flies, and 1955.
Yeah, it
Wow.
wasn't that. And I think what people miss. All of the horrific things that happened to Black people, you don't even have to go far back as slavery. You can go back to
Oh.
like 1955, 1964,
Mhm.
1973. You don't have to go far back. And so we better really be paying attention when we look at what this Trump clan is doing and how, that they are wanting to refuel what happened to Emmett Till and give white people the power to do it to us again.
Yeah. Orange G says Emmett Till would have been 84 years young, but instead he will be forever 14. Yeah,
Forever
it
young.
is. Yeah, it is something
And then
else.
you think about the museum and the thought of them possibly removing that because they don't want America to know. You know what I mean? Like, think about what they're doing to the African American Museum. We don't even know if we'll be able to have that experience, because if you haven't been to the museum and you haven't experienced that Emmett Till portion of the exhibit, when I tell you, it's like you're going to his funeral. It's a
Mhm.
very quiet,
Yep.
very solemn. It's like you're at the mortuary. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important that we are reminded, because it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Ooh. Folks, it is moving on. COVID is back with a vengeance, and the FDA has approved new COVID shots for the fall. But under RFK Jr.'s leadership at Health and Human Services, access is now sharply restricted. Only seniors and those with certain medical conditions are covered, leaving children and millions of healthy Americans outside the circle. And doctors are warning that this is going to create a very dangerous gap in protection, especially with COVID cases already climbing in parts of the country. So, if RFK, he's a leading voice against vaccines, and of course he's a conspiracy theorist. He's the one writing the rules on who gets them. How much of this is science and how much is this ideology? This is crazy.
It is insane. And COVID is on the rise here in California. There's a new strand rolling around. And so it shouldn't be taken lightly. And we were talking about herd immunity. I mean, herd immunity. Yeah, what do they call it? Herd immunity. What do they call it?
Herd immunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Those shots help that. That the shots were the ones to curb the virus. And so now you want to take the vaccinations away. And I love the fact now that it's optional. Okay. We heard you, MAGA. You want it to be optional. So if you don't want to take it, let everybody else take it, so we could have herd immunity and this thing not spread like it did before and start taking people's lives. Because like I said, right now here in California, it is on the rise. My stepdad right now has COVID. I mean, it's still here. It has not gone away.
Yeah. Dr. Joni says, she, as a doctor of public health, she's saying this decision by RFK Jr. is truly dangerous. She says this will be very dangerous. And Mike V says he doesn't understand how a person with no background in public health can determine the well-being of millions of people. Shaking my head. Listen, you go throughout that administration, and there's probably not one qualified person in the role that they have been assigned to.
Now that is bullseye. You said, what's the thing? That is bullseye.
Oh gosh. So thought-provoking question, at least I think it is, when you think about New York and Eric Adams, is his apology enough? Is it real? He went on asking for forgiveness, but you think about as his administration has been defined by indictments, resignations, many of those, FBI raids, and his aides stuffing cash in potato chip bags and giving it to reporters. Mayor Adams insists that he's innocent, yet at least 10 of his closest allies have faced criminal charges. Four deputy mayors have walked away, and a federal corruption case against him was dropped under circumstances critics have called a political favor from Donald Trump. But he says he's sorry for the distraction. but New Yorkers are left to wonder, sorry for what happened or sorry he got caught.
So he's apologizing for the
The
charges that he
distraction.
was charged. He's
He's
apologizing for
saying,
the distraction.
yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, what was the distraction? The charges that were put upon him?
I guess so.
Okay.
The corruption.
Okay, that's what he's apologizing for, corruption. Okay. I mean, hey, he's on the campaign trail, so he got to say something. I guess
Oh,
that's his
God.
way of addressing the elephant in the room.
You know what he's doing and what Andrew Cuomo is doing is tantamount to what that tennis player was doing to the black girl Townsend. They lost. Walk away. You lost. Leave Mondami alone. Right? They lost, and they still. It's oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, RNG says if y'all elect Adams, I am going to marry a big old male lady. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. You already married.
Well, why she gotta be a big old? Why can't she be voluptuous? A voluptuous one. Why she gotta be a big old woman, RNG?
Listen, he moves the way he moves, Oh my God. He said a big old male lady.
Let's say she's a voluptuous. Let's call her voluptuous.
Oh gosh. I can't wait to the season has started, at the swag season. Yeah, you gotta check him out on Friday nights. This guy is absolutely hilarious. RNG Swag Sports. Check him out on YouTube Friday evenings. Speaking of hilarious, Niele, I don't know how many people have been following this Cardi B in court, but she walked into court to fight her civil assault allegations. But what's unfolded there feels more like a reality television show than courtroom drama. From questions about her wigs and her fingernails to lawyers demanded that she reenact her alleged insults. The trial is as bizarre even as the Young Thug trial. It's a reminder that when celebrity collides with the justice system, the spectacle often overshadows the substance. It's been hilarious.
Yeah. I saw a couple of clips. The headline of yesterday was Cardi's testimony. I guess she hit the stand yesterday. And the questioning was wild, asking her, was that her hair, altercation to a debate, to what did she say? Was an altercation, a debate, or something else? Knowing Cardi B, the way the girl testified, her testimony sounded like everything Cardi B would say. But I think Cardi B yesterday with her testimony won the jurors and the audience over because they were just laughing and they just thought everything that she said was just such a delight. So, she went in there and she did her thing with her couture. She definitely played the role.
I just think that, the gallery was laughing, the jurors were laughing. Probably the judge got a giggle too, but because you're just not used to that type of behavior. And I'm not saying she misbehaved. You're not used to that type of behavior on the witness stand in court. It's just
But she's giving you, she took the court from just a boring, trial to something that, became like one of probably the top 3 stories of yesterday. She was all down your timeline. Now, when she was in court with that hairstyle, you kind of saw it. But yesterday when she took the stand, everybody was running those clips from her testimony. That's yesterday's testimony, went viral.
He asked her, the lawyer for the girl asked her about the hair. She said, I guess you could say it's a wig. It was just hilarious. This stuff is this shouldn't
and I
be
really
in
didn't
court.
understand why he was asking her those questions.
No, he was trying to get under her skin.
What was she thought it was like, okay, you want to talk fashion, you want to talk hair, because maybe he didn't understand that, a wig ain't gonna bother a woman. You know, it's part of the attire now. It's part of the whole look.
Yeah, yeah. It's and it was something about the girl. I see. Lost in all this is why she's really there. We know it's a civil assault trial, but the girl allegedly was trying to take pictures. She had gotten some sort of procedure was being done on her. Can I say the word vagina? on and the girl apparently was trying to take a picture of her vagina.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what it sounded like. Now, and she was pregnant at the time. Yeah. Oh, okay. So what was going? Yeah, and she was pregnant at the time too, because you mentioned that. But
Wow.
and the girl was supposed to be a security guard, and Cardi felt like you're a
Oh,
security guard,
see, I
and you're
didn't know
supposed to
any
be
of
there to
this.
protect, right?
Yeah, see,
And
I didn't know what
so
this trial was about.
she said the girl uh took her camera and started snapping pictures. First, I guess the girl kind of was on the phone or pretended to be on the phone, but then she started taking pictures. And Cardi says the camera, her phone kept going down, 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 and Cardi got agitated by it, and so they got into uh, some sort of altercation, verbal altercation.
Yeah. And the girl, I know that the girl did say that Carly spit on her.
Mm-hmm. And Cardi
Um,
denies spitting
she
on her.
denies her. Yeah, or you touching her at all?
Yeah, yeah. He asked her, well, why did you ask your lawyers about it was to me it was a stupid question. Why did you ask your lawyers later ask your lawyers about cameras being there? And she said, well, because I got sued and I was like, that didn't happen, and there must be cameras there or something to show that I didn't do that. I didn't spit on her. I mean, it was a dumb question. It's like I don't know who this girl hired as a lawyer, but man, she might be rethinking it today. Oh my
Right,
gosh.
right. Mhm.
But Dr. Joni does bring up a good point, a great point. This is the way this crazy world is right now. She says we have a mass shooting in my city of Minneapolis, and there was more mainstream media coverage of Cardi B. And these shootings, they just continue, and all you get from these politicians, Niele, is thoughts and prayers instead of action.
Well, that
And
was
nothing
one
else.
of the things that Brandon Scott, Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore, Maryland, sent to Donald Trump, as he wants to bring in National Guards to cities. One of his things was like, what are you going to do about gun reform and gun violence? And like I said, I was talking to Flame yesterday, and I mean, we went over a gamut of things. But as a member of the trans community, she was very concerned about this shooting because she says now it gives Donald Trump and his clan a talking point to go after the queer community. And she was like, she's just waiting to see how they're going to address it. But it's like one of their boxes they want to check off, and that shooting yesterday gives them ammunition to go after the queer community. So a lot of trans people are very concerned, and the LGBTQ community at large are concerned now because they feel like there'll be repercussions on them because of this horrific act that this
And
trans
that's a shame. It's a shame. The actions of one person. You know, it's like we do in our community, in the Black community, right? Oftentimes, when something major happens, somebody commits a major crime. Hope you're not Black. I hope you're not Black. As if one person, is a representation of the entire community. But of course, like you said, this administration will turn that into yes. See, this is all of them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the way people are thinking now, right? That's
Mhm.
the way people are thinking now. Anytime anything happens, you're next. I thought it was interesting yesterday that on a side note that we're talking about minority communities, being fearful of the Trump Klan administration. But I found it interesting yesterday that a grand juror decided not to bring upon any charges to that white guy that threw the sandwich at the police officer in DC. And first thing that went through my mind is I wonder if that would have been the same thing if it was a person of color.
First thing. Yep, me too. I was saying the same thing.
You know, I'm glad. I think it was stupid. I don't think any charges should have been brought upon him. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that if that would have been a person of color, would the outcome have been the same? And I think the answer would be no.
If that was a person of color, particularly a black person, the moment he threw the sandwich, they'd have shot him and said, "See, he had a weapon. The sandwich was the weapon."
Mhm. And then it was like, oh, it was a sandwich. My bad.
It wouldn't even been my bad. Not today. You know, they don't care. They don't
Right.
care. RNG says we are in strange times. He says his algorithm is filled with who now? Let me see what he said. As soon as I start reading it, it starts jumping around. But he says that his algorithm is full of people like Ronnie from the Players Club. She's in a bathrobe giving out random advice. And Mike V
Oh,
says
is he talking about the AI people? Those AI generated black people?
oh, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a lot of AI generated like older black women and black people having these
Oh yes,
culture
and the babies too.
conversations. Yeah, culture conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just a smoke screen, and that's how they you know, kind of just, you know, feed it to us, and then the next thing you know, you're like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yeah, yeah.
What is
Um,
real? What is fake? Last night, somebody was like, they were showing me this picture and they were like, oh, Beyonce and the American Idol winner are going on tour. And they had this picture. I'm like, that is AI generated. There's another one going around that Sade is going on tour. And it's like, it seems so subtle, right? It just seems like, oh, but there's a bigger dark plan behind
yeah, it's
all
a
this
testing
AI
ground.
rollout, you know, and it's scary because we're just all just going along with it. And, you know, we think it's funny, we think it's cute until it's not.
Yeah, and Mike V says it's the ease of legal access to firearms that's the problem, and Republicans were just as quiet when the Buffalo incident happened as well. Dr. Joni says 90+%, and she's correct. 90+% of these mass shooters are young, white, troubled Americans.
Right. Orange G say no, it was actually a real person. Well, that's good to know.
Mm.
That it's a
Okay.
real person. I'm not saying it's good what they were saying, Orange G, but I'm glad it was
Yeah,
a real person.
yeah.
Um,
And Dr. Mellon said, "Yep, they would have thrown the sandwich at the brother. They would have thrown more than the sandwich." And Dr. Maryland, you know it.
For sure. We got a few more headlines to talk about. Governor Gavin Newsom's redistricting plan will be able to move forward. This comes after the California Supreme Court rejected a petition yesterday filed by state Republican legislators seeking to keep Newsom's plan to redistrict California's congressional maps and call for a special election in November. So a brief update in the docket announced that the petition was denied and that the case is now listed as closed. And so we'll see as California voters, we'll see how they roll this out and how they move people to the polls, because we know during non-presidential elections, people don't turn out as much as they would, right, during a presidential election. And now, and it's even less than for a special election. So I'm gonna be interested to see, now that it can be on the ballot in November, how the Democratic Party and Governor Newsom plans to move the people to the polls.
Well, let's hear what Gavin Newsom had to say in this clip.
Trump wants another election. You think for a second you want? I have 24 Trump 2028 hats. His folks keep sending me.
And you think he's going to run again?
No, don't give me. You don't. Who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves the house? This is serious, guys. This is serious.
So it'll be Newsom Trump in 28.
No. This guy doesn't believe in free, fair elections. He tried to wreck this country. What were you there January 6th? I think Fox was. At least they were in a lawsuit. They seem to have lost any memory of that. Shareholders didn't. I mean, he tried to light democracy on fire. He dialed for 11, almost 12,000 votes. Now he's doing it in plain sight. And people said, oh, it's just Trump being Trump. People actually think this guy's serious about having another election? You think he's joking about 2028? You think when he brings foreign leaders to the Oval Office and he goes to the White House store, have you seen this? Anyone? Is it just me? And he shows them the 2028 hats? He's not being serious? Wake up. You will lose your country. Again, it's not about Democrats. It's about all of us.
So you're absolutely convinced he's
I'm absolutely
2028.
You've seen it. He's tried to steal the last election. He's trying to rig it in plain sight this time. He wants to get rid of vote by mail. He's talking about eliminating voting machines he doesn't like. He's setting up the contours where he can declare a declaration of emergency for anything. Just cause means whatever he just said on Truth Social. He's running the greatest grift operation in world history. I mean, it makes some of these dictators overseas blush, the crypto, not just the perfume. I mean, come on.
Let me ask you about a couple of your.
Wake up, everybody. Wake up.
Yeah,
Let me ask you about a
Excuse
couple.
me, and I know it's impolite. We have to be more calm and demure.
Couple of your own.
But I'm not calm, and I'm not going to submit myself to niceties. Not when this guy is trying to wreck our goddamn country.
So
I don't think
Yeah,
Your
I
governor.
mean, yeah, I mean, I just think that like we're talking about AI, just everything, we're sitting back letting this happen, but not really understanding that him adding those 5 seats in Texas. And when I say him, I'm talking about Trump, because everything is being motivated by him. All of this is leading up to him, building a fortress around him in that White House so he doesn't have to leave. So he's absolutely right.
Yeah, and Nancy Walsh says he gets it and finally says it out loud. Well, Gavin Newsom's been saying it for from the beginning. And of
Jasmine
course, we know,
Crockett has
and
too.
Jasmine
I mean,
Crockett
tons
and
of
Kamala
people have.
Harris. Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's gonna take I hate to say it, it's gonna take a white man to stand up to that white man.
yeah,
I hate
yeah.
to say
That's
it.
what I said too. That's exactly what I said as well.
So go, Newsom, go. You want the smoke? We gonna have the water hose in case they set you on fire. We'll put it out, but you go ahead and you fight that battle. We boots on the ground. Where the fans at? Okay. And as Newsom is doing what we need a white man to do, the NAACP is still on the front line, y'all. And they have launched a series of nationwide town halls aimed at mobilizing Black voters ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Now, the organization is set to have town halls in Texas, California, North Carolina, Ohio, Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, New York, and Maryland in the coming months. And the town halls will focus on the local impact of federal policies while also boosting grassroots voter engagement through outreach, volunteer recruitment, and community organizing. And so, I mean, we need all this happening at the same time. We need governors standing up to Trump. We need to make sure the states are doing their redistricting, situations, and we need legacy organizations registering voters on these college campuses and having town halls talking to the people about the issues that are important to them to push them to the polls.
Yeah, lots going on.
There's a lot going on. And then last but not least, Transportation Secretary Sean Duff announced yesterday that his department is taking over management at Union Station, the main transportation hub in Washington, and they're taking it away from Amtrak. Like, how can they do this?
Well, Amtrak is government contracted, but this is, again, Gavin Newsom said it best. This is the work of a dictator. There's no question about it. This is the work of somebody who is not planning to go anywhere.
But what does I'm just unclear of what does taking over Union Station? What's the purpose behind that? Like, what? I mean, I don't understand like why they feel it's necessary. Is it just to show his power?
Well, obviously, that's one of the things here, but the other is follow the money, and there's a lot of money there. A lot that's an old historic structure. Number one, Everything that he's, he has invested the government's money into entities. The government is actually purchasing things that they never did before. Shares and this and that. This man, it has free reign. He's doing these things. Follow the money is all I could say. And of course, as Greer says, there's a bigger plan at play.
Yeah.
And Dr. Joni says they want to get rid of public transit.
Oh.
Yeah. You think about that too, right? Education has been under attack by him. The banks are under attack. The Fed, and of course he's trying to fire the girl there, the young woman there at the Fed, the Federal Reserve, public transportation, taking away all of the social safety nets, folks. It spells out for you dictatorship. There was even talk of trying to put a plan together where no one would own cars or homes. They are real. This Heritage Foundation Project 2025 is extremely deep.
And don't forget about Project Esther. That's still on the move too.
And that's on the move. Yep.
So
yep, it's diabolical.
Well, there you have it for today.
It's a moment of pause for reflection. And yes, Dr. Jones, Lisa Cook is who I was identifying, also trying to fire all the head scientists at the CDC, even as we have a COVID surge and no vaccines. And did you see which department was this?
It was FEMA.
FEMA.
You're talking about of all the employees that wrote the letter.
Why are you in my head like that, huh? Who gave you permission to get inside my head? Yeah, exactly.
They let go so many FEMA employees because they wrote a letter saying, raising the alarm.
Yeah.
That it was a lot of funding and resources that were provided due to the response of Hurricane Katrina. And the Trump clan said, you're fired, go away.
Yep. Yeah.
Because they were doing their job.
Exactly. Look, even the Weather Service, the National Weather Service, fired all those scientists. It's just, woo, folks. Listen to Gavin Newsom. he knows what he's talking about. So anyway, our Black facts. Let's get to some Black history moments. August 28th, of course, is packed with Black history facts. So we have a few. On this date in 1833, the Slavery Abolition Act was passed in the British colonies, gradually leading to the emancipation of their enslaved Black people. Also on this date, Martin Luther King, 1964, gave his 1963, I'm sorry, I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial on this date during the famous March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. And on this date in 2008, Barack Obama gave his historic acceptance speech for the Democratic presidential nomination, where he said, he quoted King, "It is that promise that 45 years ago today brought Americans from every corner of this land to stand together on a mall in Washington before Lincoln's memorial and hear a young preacher from Georgia speak of his dream." So those are some things that have happened. I know you have some things as well, some Black history facts. So let's get to it.
Yeah, as we close out Black August, which is a month where we celebrate resilience and significant turning points in Black history. A fun fact that happened today, in 1961, the song "Please Mr. Postman" by the Marvelettes became Motown's first #1 single, receiving its first broadcast airplay and marking a pivotal moment for Motown and the music industry. And then fast forward to 2005, Hurricane Katrina made landfall, leading to the tragic destruction and demonstration of ongoing racial and economic disparities. And of course, ending it off in 2016, former NFL player Colin Kaepernick began protesting racial injustice during the national anthem by taking the knee. And his actions, of course, sparked a broader and national conversation about race and equality in America. And so those are some more facts that happened today in Black history.
Yeah. And Katrina. Oh gosh, we will forever remember that. And I know RNG talks about it a lot. The effects there that still go, they're still lingering, that's still pummeling Louisiana, which is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, it's infrastructure. You know, you think about Biden doing that infrastructure bill, and because it was when the levees broke. It wasn't necessary to storm. It was when the levees broke, and that all has to do with federal funding, government spending, and Donald Trump is taking all of that away.
Yeah, Dr. Joni says just gives her shivers seeing those pictures of Katrina. Yeah, absolutely. Whew. Well, our Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Tri-State Defender and tsdmemphis.com. They are the home for news and entertainment and information specifically focused on the African-American community in Greater Memphis and beyond. It is one of the oldest media organizations in the South that caters to the news and information needs of the African-American community. They are a digital format media group that keeps readers informed quickly as news breaks that affects the community. It was first published on November 1st, 1951, and now the weekly paper has always been an anchor element in the multi-platform delivery of news and information. Yes, the Tri-State Defender continues to inform and inspire readers while seeking to help them elevate the quality of their lives. So the Tri-State Defender is our Black-owned newspaper of the day.
And so what's on the wire today, Stacy?
Well, more on the transatlantic slave trade, so that lest we forget, we are not going to let people erase our history. Billionaires are paying lower effective tax rates. That's on there. And the latest, speaking of transatlantic slave trade, the latest installment is about the Catholic Church playing a major role in slavery.
There you have it, guys. And for more headlines on sports, Black culture, Black news, Black experience, head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
Absolutely. And Dr. Marilyn, yep, we can only focus on what we can control and let go of the rest, she says. And as far as Katrina, RNG says you still have houses that are still not repaired.
It's a lot of good specials on Netflix, Hulu, and Prime about Hurricane Katrina. So if you want to take a deep dive to see, just remember what happened and see where the state of New Orleans is today, check them out.
Check them out. And folks, check us out tomorrow. It's Friday. Goodness grief. I love it. We'll see you then.